Join David and Ross as they become discombobulated in Dorset. From pixies to poltergeists, witches to woodrows, hear them explore the legends, folklore, and outright weirdness of their own county. This is Dark Dorset, the podcast of Weird Dorset.
What are you drinking then, Rossi?
All right, so, well, I'm actually drinking. I'm just finishing off a bit of neck oil, but the
Hattie Browns.
The local drinker got us some Hattie Browns.
Yeah, like it.
Because Copper Street Brewery and Bottle Shop, which is often mentioned on our podcast, has a huge range of these, and all the labels look amazing. And so I bought my dad a whole like 12 bottles or different bottles.
They're lovely labels, aren't they? All in brown.
Yeah. So I got the Crow Black, brewed in Swanage within sight of the sea. Crow Black is a classic, robust, dark porter-style beer made with hops, malted barley, yeast, and wheat. All the things which are probably going to give me the shits. Today's episode is 5.1%. We have it smelled bad when I first opened it.
The smell of toffee, roasted nuts.
Yeah, roasted nuts. Wow.
It's these tight trousers.
Yeah.
You will never get to the bottom of that. 5.1 thick treacly stuff. You won't like that.
I like it. I do like porter.
Neck it, down it, go on.
Gal porter. Was Gal porter? So I'm getting.
She looked like a lollipop.
She had her bum
big head
put up onto the House of the Parliament, didn't she? Gal porter.
Did she?
Yeah, they had a projection of. Then I was trying to think, but then I was getting mixed up with Janet Street Porter.
I don't think anyone would want that done with her bum.
So what you got, David? I believe that you actually went out and got some.
Well, I did. I've lost the window you were in. I tried to. I despair of Wareham. Like the two tiny supermarkets didn't have any local beers in, so I went to the pub. And I've had a bad day, so I did actually have a pint.
Yeah.
And I had a sneaking suspicion that they might sell this, and they do. So I have a Hawkstone Session beer.
Ooh.
Session lager, which is 4%, and it's
Hawkstone. I'm going to write it down on my bit of paper.
Why?
So I can link to it on our Twitter.
It's what's his face's beer? Jeremy Clarkson.
Is it? Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. So I think I'm not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
It smells of opinions. It's yeah. It's lager. It's where's his farm? Is it Gloucestershire? I don't know. Cotswolds.
So not local at all. So
no, but I bought it locally.
Okay.
While downing a pint of something else that was local.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what was your local? What was the local beer you drank at the local pub for local people?
It wasn't that local.
Mm-hmm.
I lied. It wasn't that local. It was a.
I don't think David likes Dorset. He hates Dorset.
It was Buckham. Buckham.
Yes, we've had Buckham before.
But it wasn't one of the Buckhams we've had before. It was a new special release, limited edition type thing.
I love a special release Buckham.
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome. Oh, we haven't done
that bit.
We haven't done our traditional. Hi, I'm Ross.
Our traditional balls up of introduction.
Yeah. I'm Ross in Dorchester.
And I'm David in Wareham, where they don't sell any local beer.
Yeah. And this episode, we are talking about the Pirates' Graveyard of Church Ope Cove. Is that how you say it?
Yes,
Ope
we are.
Or Opie?
Ope. It's not Opie.
Opie.
That's stupid. Church Ope. Like hope without an H.
Oh. So
that's how I'd go with it. Yeah. But you're the local boy, aren't you? You're
more local to Portland, I imagine.
Yeah.
I used to work on Portland, didn't I?
By looks and by bloodline.
Yeah. Oh gosh, burping away here. So, we went.
So yes, we did. Go on. You do the talking.
That's all right.
That's how it works.
No? Oh, gosh.
What?
Was that a little dig at my...
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, you've done the research on this one because you bought the book from the museum.
I did, but I can't fucking find it.
You went in the museum for free.
Yeah.
With all your kids
and
all the girls, and you had to pay to get in, and they all stormed through.
Yeah, they needed the toilet.
And you bought a book with my money.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
I didn't realise that.
That's right. That's your birthday present.
Oh, okay. Well,
£2 well spent, and you've just thrown it away.
I haven't thrown it away. It's on the dark. It's in the Dark Dorset library, which is now.
Is that open to the public?
No. Well, you can apply to the website and book some time on it, but I can't find the book. It was only a pamphlet, wasn't it? But
okay, yeah.
So essentially.
Yeah.
Portland. Let's explain what Portland is first. Portland.
Oh, that's going to take an age. Portland is Dorset's other isle.
Yeah, it's like a little island hanging off of the bottom of Weymouth, essentially, isn't it?
Connected by Chesil Beach.
Yeah, is it? So is it an island then? If it's got a connection, you have to go over a bridge at some point. Oh, did that part come through on the?
No.
Okay.
You only go over the bridge because that's the road. You could walk. Could you? Yeah, you can walk it all along the beach.
God.
Yeah.
So it's not really an island then. It's just like a Klingon. It's a Klingon.
It is.
A Klinger.
It is, and it's very famous for
Portland stone.
Portland stone in the quarries, or the Portland stone that is beautifully bright and fine textured and weathers so well. And a lot of London is made out of Portland stone.
Mm.
It's also famous for being quite unwelcoming. Is that fair to say? Well, having said that, when we kayaked the Dorset coast and we pulled up on Portland, a very scary looking chap full of tattoos and biker jackets and lights shared his flask of tea with us. And he was really lovely. So maybe they're not as unwelcome as they used to be.
Mm.
It's also famous because you're not allowed to say the word rabbit.
Yep. So apology if you're listening to this on the island. So yeah, I think it's because it's a famous quarry area, like David said, famous for its stone, and it says that St Paul's Cathedral and the United Nations headquarters have been made from Portland stone. And I always think to myself that stone has been taken off of that island for like hundreds of years, and how much bigger was it? Because it's just always like you can't just keep taking it out of it. Yeah. So, but when they're digging all the stone out of there, rabbits can burrow in there and make it unstable. And
yeah, and they're meant to be bad luck. And if the quarrymen saw a rabbit in their quarry, they'd go home for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
which is quite nice. I quite like that. I'd take a rabbit with me and just let it loose. And go home.
We're not talking. Well, we're talking about the sex toy rabbit or the furry kind of rabbit.
The underground mutton.
Underground mutton, yeah. So not allowed to say rabbit on there.
You can say bunny.
You can say bunny instead. When they did the Curse of the Were Rabbit, they did came out. They did a special version of the poster on the billboards on Portland.
They did the word rabbit on.
When I went, I saw Mark Still came there for part of the BBC Radio 4 show he does, where he goes to different strange parts of the UK, and at the end he played the Chas and Dave special, and everyone started booing him, and someone threw a coin at him and hit him on the head. Yeah. So
excellent. Well, the other thing it's slightly less famous for is the Mer chicken.
Oh,
have you heard about this?
No.
This is a half chicken, half bearded man-woman creature.
Right.
That I think it's when sailors have been to sea for a long time, they start fantasizing about different things to eat. Yeah. And this big chicken appears on the sea, giant-sized chicken,
right,
standing on the sea, and it crows like a cockerel 4 times, I think, and then it disappears. So yeah, and that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But if that's what people imagine after being out at sea for a long time, why is it famous? Why do they see it on Portland?
Because they're coming back to Portland after they've been maybe they're coming back into Weymouth Harbour.
Or they're just desperate because I think they only recently had a supermarket put on there. So
They
they're just hoping that KFC will be.
Maybe it's just a local bearded man / in a chicken costume. And there's the Viasta, which is a cross between a seahorse and a fish.
Okay.
The seahorse is quite fishy anyway.
Well, yeah, seahorses are fish, aren't they?
That's kind of a monster that was meant to live in the waters around there, so people didn't like to go bathing off Chesel Beach because of this monster. And it was first seen in 1457.
Yeah.
And then it hadn't been seen for 500 years or more recently. And it was then, it reappeared in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's as if
so we should go looking for that.
Yeah, definitely. You're not a sea fisherman, though, Dave.
It's as if someone read about it and then
saw it
just in time for a podcast.
Yeah. So apparently, according to Wikipedia, Portland is a tide island. An island that is connected to the mainland or another island by a tombolo, a spit or beach connected to land at both ends.
I guess the spit of the pebbles, the Chesel Beach thing, maybe it's because it's not permanent, because it moves around in the tide.
Mm-hmm.
The storms move the whole bank, don't they?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not classed as land. It's this tombolo.
Yeah. So
I think I knew someone called Tombolo once.
Yeah. It's a nice.
He's very popular at fetes.
So the Isle of Portland in England is also described as a Thailander, but geographers now believe that Chesel Beach, which connects the island to the mainland, is a barrier beach that has moved eastward rather than a tombolo, which would have been formed by the effect of the island or waves. So, yeah, there you go.
So you lured me to Portland, didn't you?
Yes.
Like a big mare chicken.
Yes.
You lured me there saying, David, come and see the pirate graves. And I've heard about the pirate graves for many years, several years, because they're quite well hidden. And it's always popular with kind of kids. And I was going to take my niece and nephew to try and find the pirate graves of Portland. It is lovely down there.
Yes.
We went on a really sunny day.
Yeah.
Or a group of us went, which was quite good. But at the top, you kind of spoilt it for me by saying the graves aren't real pirate graves. They're just graves. And I totally lost interest now and then. And I'm going to take my headphones off now and walk away.
I'm sorry. But would you rather I told you afterwards or before?
Well, the fact that you've known this for many, many years, rather than just, if we got down to the graveyard, we found it, and you're reading this pamphlet that I generously bought you.
Yeah, and then I lost.
And then said, "Oh, look, do you know what? They're not actually graves of real pirates." I'd have been disappointed, but I wouldn't have felt betrayed and lied to.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Well, it's still, what it's called, the Pirates' Graveyard.
It is, isn't it? So we parked up on a very busy lane and walked down quite a steep hill. Starts off as a little lane, goes past the museum, and then it was lots and lots of steps.
It goes past a potentially Norman castle, which is slightly ruined. You can't actually get into it, but you have to go through like a very nice sort of like ruined archway to get down. Then a very, very steep hill you have to go down.
You're walking down the kind of cliff face, aren't you? And they've put a kind of staircase in that. And then when you're about 2/3 of the way down, there's a tiny little turning off to the right as the main path veers hard left. I can't remember if it was signposted. But you
and there's kind of like ropes and stuff, isn't there, to sort of help get you through there. And that leads you into a ruined church. So I got to try and remember what the pamphlet said about it, but I believe that it was a sort of Norman era church. It was built on the site of like some kind of temple, a previous temple as well, from sort of older time. I wish I had that bit of that.
I think the graveyard dates from 1475.
Yes,
but it was built in the ruins of a larger place that was there before, and it was smashed to bits when the French and Danish came to raid Portland at different times.
Yeah, so I think there was some monks which were there at some point, and then it was a case of that. Yeah, it just kept getting raided, so in the end they just left it there. as a ruin. Looking online, there's actually something we missed. There's actual tunnel stroke catacombs underneath it as well, which you can get into. They're not particularly big or particularly interesting, but I think that would have been quite cool to go in there.
We could have sent the kids in at least.
Yeah, well, when you look at it, it seems to be held up by Jenga-esque pillars, which is perfect for children to knock over and get trapped in there. So I don't, even if we did know they were there and we found them, I don't think I would have gone in. It does look a little bit precarious. There are some very atmospheric and quite eroded away 11th, 12th century gravestones still there.
Yes. And it's quite... There are some. You can see some of the walls of the old church, but they're not very high. And on the back of the graveyard, there's kind of trees, and more of the cliff goes up. On the front of the site, that it kind of just goes straight down to the sea. So you get this beautiful vista over the sea, don't you? And then
Church Ope Cove, which is the area where it's near.
And then there's probably 10, 15 gravestones.
Yeah.
Just littered around sparsely. They're all different shapes and sizes. They've all got ivy growing over them. But there's this one big tomb that stands.
I think it's got a table tomb, isn't it? I think it's believed. Yeah. But on them, some of these, they do have carvings of skull and crossbones, which is where the legend of these being pirates' graveyards comes from. But apparently that was just the fashion of that time.
Yeah. In the 16th, 17th century, it was the skull and crossbones was a symbol just of mortality. And that's why the pirates picked it up and used it, because previously they just had a red flag, Le Joli Rouge, which became kind of the Jolly Roger. And they took this symbol of mortality that they would unfurl as they got close to ships they were going to board. And
yes, I've done some research into the Jolly Roger as well.
So that kind of show.
Yeah. So there's so apparently pirates used to use two flags. So if the first they would put up the red flag, which was the
that was to me, and then there's a to you flag.
Yeah. So the red one was like basically saying, "We're pirates. We're going to come and board you. Surrender now, and we won't hurt you." So that was the red flag, which was the Jolly Rouge, which is which means something like the happy red or something. And if they didn't capitulate at that point, then they would raise the black flag, which is like, right, we warned you. Now we're going to board you and we're going to kill you. And then over time, that black flag started to become embellished with things like skulls and crossbones and cutlasses and all that kind of stuff to establish the fact that you were which pirates you were, and to strike more terror into them.
I think they should use those instead of the yellow and red card on football matches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the actual real blood on the card. Apparently the pirateering was kind of legal as well. So you could be like an independent pirate who would just like rob anyone, or if you're a pirateer, that would be like if you was an English pirateer, you would then be able to would be allowed to go and raid French or Spanish boats. So, and then you would have a special version of the British flag with a symbol in the middle to say that you're almost like an official pirate. Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, it was a very nice place. It was very atmospheric. Ruined slightly by the fact that there's no pirates in those tombs or graves. Just well-to-do people who lived centuries ago. Yeah.
And I think they was like most of them are ladies as well, aren't they? Because I think if you're looking at the same website as I was.
How very dare you?
Yeah. I think they went through and they were saying that they were. One is for Julian, the wife of Robert Barrett, who died in May 1691, and another one is for someone called John Ailes. So these are all the. So they said they don't particularly sound like pirates.
No. We took some photos, didn't we, when we were there? Yeah. We should put those up.
Yes, I will put up the pub stuff up soon as well. I know on our last one. But then you can carry on. So it was also slightly ruined by the fact we had children with me, and it was a lovely sunny day, and people were walking. There was lots of rock climbers there as well, weren't there? It was a kind of everyone was carrying down mattresses so they could do a bit of bouldering and falling off onto there. So it looked like it was a very popular site for people to do rock climbing. And then we walked all the way down to a very, very hot beach and had a couple of beers at the bottom down there.
And walked up again.
Yeah. No, it also seemed to be quite popular for spearfishing because there was a guy.
It was quite popular because there was one guy spearfishing.
It was popular for that man. It's more popular than any other beach I've been to for spearfishing because I've never seen anyone else spearfishing anywhere else.
Maybe you've not been at the right times.
No.
I found some TripAdvisor reviews
of
the pirate graveyard.
Do
you want to hear my 3 favourite ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one says, a quiet, peaceful spot with great views of the coves below. Gravestones with what we thought were pirate graves, but they are not. 4 stars.
Easily pleased.
Easily pleased.
Yeah.
This one is 3 stars. Decent view at the end of a steep walk down a wood from the church ruins. Free, would not recommend.
Oh, still got 3 stars.
Yeah. And this is my favourite. We found these ruins by accident when looking for Church Ope Cove. It was interesting for about 10 seconds before we moved on. I guess if you like ruins, you will enjoy it. But if, like me, you prefer to see your buildings whole, you will shrug your shoulders and move on. 2 stars.
Arsehole. Why would you bother seeking out TripAdvisor to give us such a snotty review? I think some people are just too full of their own self-importance, and says someone who's got his own podcast and likes other people to listen to his own opinions and listen to his voice. Apparently, Church Ope is also the first recorded Viking attack on the British Isles was at Church Ope in 789 AD. So that's quite interesting.
First recorded one.
Mm-hmm. But apparently, because it was an area where people used to have like pleasure boats used to come up there, and they used to like get like a steamer boat. I imagine from Weymouth, and
the Vikings didn't get
not the Vikings. No, this is like a couple of hundred years later on. But it was a popular beach for people to go.
There's not. I think the one thing is that people might not understand is that the coast of Portland is very, very cliffy.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's just high cliffs. It's very inaccessible. If you're kayaking round or boating round or whatever, there's not many landing places, and the tides are quite extreme because it sticks out right into the channel. So you have to get it right. And Church Ope Cove is one of the only bits of
sort of bathing areas,
beach, pebbly beach. It's one of the only landing places all around.
Yeah. So you've canoed up onto their kayak, sorry.
Yeah, I have.
Kayak.
Was I glaring at you?
Well, it's all the same fucking thing, isn't it? Kayaks, canoes, pedlos, all the same thing. Well, we did see some kayakers when we were there, didn't we?
We did.
We're coming up.
We did. There was a club paddle or something. They all stopped for lunch, sat out and enjoyed the sun in different levels of neoprene.
Apparently, there was also a history of smugglers using that area as well. So maybe that might have also added to the pirate myths of that area.
Yes, because it's quite inaccessible from land as well. There's got to be a tunnel or two, hasn't there? Or you could imagine all the contraband going up and disappearing quite quickly.
Yeah, it's very steep though. We were saying if smugglers were coming in there, and it's got modern steps being put in, and even then it was a bit of a slog.
Even for us, because we're in the peak of our fitness.
But my young children just hated it as well. Moaned all the way up.
They should leave reports on reviews on TripAdvisor.
Yeah, taken here from my dad to see.
Too many steps.
Yeah, one of them thought they heard a pirate ghost. So I don't.
What did it say?
Yo ho ho or something like that. No, they thought they heard some whispering by the graves. Apparently, there was a minefield there as well because it was seen as a potential sort of landing area during in the war. So there's pillboxes there as well and a minefield. But again, so I was thinking smugglers trying to get barrels up that hill would be a nightmare. if you were a Viking, like landing it there and then trying to get up there before anyone just repelled you back down.
I know. It strikes me as one of the hardest places. I mean, on the other, so you've got Chesil Beach, which is difficult to land on because the waves just crash on it.
Yeah. And it gets very, very steep very quickly as well.
But you've got all of Weymouth Bay, nice sandy beach, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got the bit by the castle there that is Portland and in Portland Harbour, which wouldn't have had walls back then, but that's got to be sheltered. Over the other side, you've still got cliffs, but you've got Kimmeridge and you've got Lulworth Cove, and
I can see why smugglers might want to do it, because then people might not be able to see what you're up to up there. But
yes, because it does point out to sea, doesn't it? So lovely and dark, no one can see you.
Yeah,
I suppose but it is the.
But anyone who's trying to attack anyone,
accessibility.
Yeah, so whoever sort of managed to storm that church and smash it to pieces, I would imagine they would have needed a bit of a breather by the time they got to the top of that hill before they done it.
Yeah. Yes.
So I would say that I worked on Portland for a while. I quite soon up, because I used to have my own design company, and quite early points of that, I got a office in a building there, which used to be a secret weapons development facility. I think you visited us there, maybe then.
No, not in Portland.
No, so it was that's where they used to do develop secret torpedoes and all that kind of stuff. And it was it was a massive building, and when you looked at some of the photographs of what it looked like in its heyday, it used to have like a cinema in there, and all these amazing sort of like drawing areas for like doing all the technical drawing and stuff. They had like the sort of like the workshops to build all the kind of stuff, and apparently there was some big kind of like spy intrigue where some either Russian or German spies were infiltrated the facility to see what they were building up there and stuff. But it's very kind of like I would say 40s sort of building. We had amazing like wooden parquet flooring and stuff, and it was great. However, it was like right on the other end of Portland. So, and I signed up
over by the lighthouse.
Yeah. So I signed up for the office, and then I got my driving license revoked for driving too fast. Oh. So I had to go and I got myself a little 125 scooter, and every day I used to have to. It took me about an hour to get from Dorchester, where I was living at the time, all the way at the other side of Portland. Dear. If it was raining or windy, just going across Chesil Beach, I get a 45-degree angle on this, then going up that hill in Fortune's Well to get to the top. It was almost like, it's one of those things you look back and what the hell was I doing? But and then when you get there, you get French radio, because like you sort of it's so far off the bottom of the UK.
Yeah. I think our phone signals went to a French provider.
Yeah. But it was a lot of my clients were like in London and stuff, and they just loved the idea that I was on a little island and they could hear seagulls when they
fearing for your life.
Yeah, but it was good.
I heard about. I don't know if this is true. There was a chap that lived on Portland, and he was in his 80s or something, and he'd never been to the mainland once in his entire life. I'm sure he made the news. It was before the Olympics.
Yeah. I think it was one of the things. I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, but apparently there's a lot of the same families on there. So, like on the war memorials, it's like it's all crabs or stones. Those are the two names which they got on there. So that was a really cool building, but I think it's now been turned into a hotel and a school. Eventually, it was changed into that, but it was an amazing building, but fucking remote. It was,
bloody hell.
But it was one of those things. It forced you to stay at work, because by the time you got there, it's like, right,
lock yourself in.
Lock myself in. Yeah. One time I got so wet going over there on my scooter in the rain. I just stripped off to my pants and had all my clothes on all the radiators. So I was just working in my pants all day. Then someone knocked on the door, and I need to get dressed. So that's Portland and Church Ope and the Pirates Graveyard, which wasn't a graveyard. I wouldn't. How many stars would you give it on TripAdvisor, David?
It's hard to say. I would give it, out of 5, I'd have to give it a 3, but that's being a bit nerdy, isn't it? It really only deserves a 2.
Okay, let's give it a 2. I would recommend going on a very sunny day or a really horrible, sort of like murky night. Over to you'll get like a nice experience. And we did say how many goths have had sex on that table.
Did we? I don't remember that.
Oh, maybe I just said that to my wife, and we said let's come back in when no one else is here. Anyway, I don't know if I'll leave that in. Yeah. So yeah.
Hang on. Got a question for you.
Okay.
Why are pirates called pirates?
I don't know why pirates called pirates.
Because it comes from the German to attack.
Ah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be one of your classic jokes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. See, the joke is why are pirates called pirates? Because they are. Right? That's why it's like what does Batman's mum say when it's time for Batman to come in for dinner?
Dinner. Batman.
No, she doesn't say anything because she's dead. That's the whole premise of the Batman story, isn't it? That he's an orphan.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, David drinks his Jemmy Clocks and beer on that bombshell. Until next time, I've been Ross.
I'm David. Still am.
Happy day. Bye-bye.
Cheery buys.
Bye.
It's not natural.
If you knows of any weirdness you'd like to share with David and Ross, you can tell them by email at darkdorset@gmail.com or talk to them on Twitter at darkdorset. Well, until next time, stay discombobulated. Stay discombobulated. Stay discombobulated. Stay discombobulated. Stay discombobulated.
David started talking about his trousers before I hit record.
No, I'm going to take them off now. If you're going to take the piss.
No, I'm not going to take the piss.
I'll be trouserless.
Tell me.
I have ridiculous trousers on. I can't believe I bought them. I can't believe I've kept them. It's the first time I've worn them, and I thought they look so ridiculous. They must make up for them, be incredibly comfortable, but they're not.
Oh, okay, so
and they're really loud. They're really loud.
Colourfully loud.
I can't too short.
You're going to walk off? Well, that's because you're short. Right. Well, yeah. You always worry when a man starts tilting his camera downwards. Right? Yeah. Oh, interesting. They got a very low gusset.
That's just me, that is. Maybe that's what makes them uncomfortable.
Maybe try pulling them up. Flipping heck. What's going on? They look like the cover of.
Aren't they bad?
Well, I don't know. Maybe on a younger man.
Yeah.
They look like the cover of that. What's that famous band?
That famous band would be Joy Division.
Joy Division. It looks like the Joy Division cover.
The T-shirt, the album cover. But yeah. So that's
right,
bad.
well, at least
I've also taken your feedback from the sound not being too good last time. You said I needed to elevate my microphone.
Yes.
So I had this to start with.
And talking into it would help as well.
This is a huge glass bell jar for growing kind of
a terrarium.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And that was too high.
Yeah.
Like gold looks too best. So I've got this, which I thought was some kind of glass flower vase. Caroline says she bought it in a charity shop years ago and it was labelled as a wine carafe. But I have a suspicion it could be something you pee in.
Piss into it, yeah. It does. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's a sample jar, isn't it?
So, yeah.
That's
but
good.
The microphone's right in front of my face now.
Well, almost. It could probably go up a little bit higher, but,
I could put it on that, but I don't think we're being safe.